Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Christina Campbell, and this class is Healthy Endocrine System. That is just another way of describing organs that produce hormones. So we're talking about balancing hormones naturally, even though the word hormones is not really compliant. It's like me saying, I have something for pain. You know, we're not really allowed to say we have something for pain unless we're talking about Coolazul pain relief or Lavaderm, I believe, is an OTC. And we talked about that last week. But anyway, the fact is that we're going to talk about a lot of different things tonight, and this is a two-part class. So I'm glad that you got the message that this was not canceled. That was a little bit of a oopsie by my new assistant, and she's learning. We're getting there. Hopefully she'll be on this class tonight. I don't hear her yet. I don't see her, but no worries. So this is what you're going to learn with Healthy Endocrine System. You're going to learn which organs make up the endocrine system. You're going to learn how the endocrine system functions and how it affects our overall health. Why hormone testing is important, especially if you think you have, out of balanced hormones. I recommend getting your hormone test through Dr. Dan Purser. And you can find Dr. Purser on Facebook. You can find him on the internet. You can Google Dan Purser. That's Purser. And he's very economical as far as, if you were to pay for any other hormone tests out there. So he's comparable. We're also going to talk about how to support hormone production, because it's important that we're producing hormones, because that's really what keeps us young. And we're going to talk about how our environment plays a role in this overall endocrine system. We're also going to touch on how synthetic hormones, why they're dangerous, and how to support the body through stages of menopause. That's just part one. So next week, we're going to start part two, and I'll review that before we close this class tonight. So what is the endocrine system? It is a system of glands and organs, and those glands and organs secrete specific types of hormones. These hormones regulate our bodily activities. They regulate our behavior and other biological features. Some of the glands are the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, the thyroid, the parathyroid, the adrenals, which sit on top of our kidneys, the pancreas, and the testes or ovaries. Using a series of signaling, the glands create a communication network known as an axis. And not all organs that secrete hormones or hormone-like substances are considered part of the endocrine system. So we'll look at that as well. So this is how it functions. It circulates hormones through the body, influencing certain organs and tissues. And it's usually done via the bloodstream. Some hormones only affect one or two organs, whereas others have influence throughout the entire body. Hormones are the body's chemical messengers, and they are critical to maintaining vibrant health, the state of youthfulness, honestly. A tiny amount of any hormone can result in a big change in the cells of even the entire body. So hormones help us with good brain function, in maintaining optimal body functions, and they work to help keep us young, like I mentioned. Progesterone balances estrogen, giving us a feeling of well-being and giving us a positive attitude. Progesterone and testosterone increase physical desire. Testosterone helps to build muscle, and it decreases fat. Estrogen and testosterone convert bad cholesterol, or LDL, to good cholesterol, HDL. So you can see where hormones can adjust our cholesterol levels. It is important to have your hormone levels tested by requesting a blood hormone panel. A hormone panel should be taken every week for 4 weeks to cover the complete cycle for best results. And after the analysis, it is recommended that a hormone specialist evaluate those results. And that would be Dr. Dan Purser. That is who I am recommending, because he honestly has the better understanding. I'm sorry?
You want to watch it here?
Oh, I think we probably should put you all on mute. Just a minute here. Participants, all, yes. Okay. I'm going to put in the chat for everyone Dr. Dan Purser's name, Dr. Dan Purser. And then that way you can look him up and you know, ask him about a hormone panel, how much it's going to cost you if your insurance is covered by him. And then he will send you the appropriate place. He'll just go through all that you need to do. I've had a number of them done by him. And this is the note that I wanted to make sure that you understood. Standard blood tests. If you were to go into your women's wellness clinic or any clinic where you were going to get a blood test, they're designed to pick up only the sickest 2.5% of the population. And individuals often suffer for years before being told that their thyroid or testosterone or estrogen or progesterone and adrenal levels are fine. They wait until you're in a critical state before they tell you that you need thyroid medication, or you have a tumor on your thyroid, or whatever, you know, whatever the case may be. So that's why I'm recommending Dan Purser. Okay, supporting hormone production. You know, we've talked about cleansing before, and I always say cleanse the colon before you cleanse the liver. So once you cleanse the colon and you're coming into looking at the liver, you want to cleanse that liver for optimal hormone production. You also want to cleanse it for body detoxification, because this is where our glucose or glycogen is stored, and it will enhance your digestive health. So what we want to do is we want to use Juva Cleanse. This is a blend of essential oils to include helichrysum and carrot seed oil. There's just a lot of really great liver supporting oils in there. So you're going to apply that over the liver and on the kidney and liver VitaFlex points on the bottom of the feet. This is beneficial when used with a raindrop technique as well, and you can take 1 capsule twice a day. This is going to help support hormone production after you've cleansed the colon and you're going into the liver cleanses. So what else supports hormone production? Enzymes. Enzymes actually support almost all the systems. Essentialzyme is a good place to start. It's a multispectrum enzyme complex, and it will help ensure a successful hormone therapy program for both men and women. Make sure you're taking your enzymes. Essentialzyme, I use both, by the way. I carry the Essentialzyme 4 in my pocketbook so that when I'm out, I have those readily available. But usually, if I'm taking my enzymes at home, I will take Essentialzyme. This is an advanced multi-enzyme general purpose complex that promotes digestion and assists in the assimilation of nutrients. I also, like last night, I took 10 Detoxzyme. And Gary used to say, you know, taking 10 Detoxzyme at night was very, very helpful, because detoxing at night is a very good thing to do. So think about that. They're very, very tiny. Taking 10 is nothing. And there's a lot of them in that little bottle. I think there's 180 in that little bottle. So again, we're talking about the liver, making sure that the liver is in optimum health so that we can have optimum hormone production. Once you've done that, once you start doing that Juva cleanse, you might want to begin by adding ICP, which increases fiber to enhance normal bowel function and aid in the removal of toxins from the body. So if you're dumping some garbage from the liver into the colon, then ICP is just going to help take it out of the body. Juva Power, anything that's in Young Living that starts with Juva, Juva Flex, Juva Cleanse, Juva Power, Juva Tone, all of these have to do with supporting the liver. And one of the wonderful things about Juva Power is that it's a rich source of acid-binding foods, mostly spinach and beets. Gary found many years ago that those two foods in and of themselves were tremendously effective in binding acid. And the more alkaline our body is, the better it can heal. So binding acid foods that are high in the liver will protect the liver. So, and that's what I just said. Yeah, what I was reading on the bottom there. I actually wasn't reading it. I just kind of knew that. Okay, so what causes endocrine imbalances in the first place? I will tell you that it's an overload of chemical toxins, and it's found in the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food that we eat, and in the products that we use daily. I know for the people that are on this call tonight, you are doing everything that you can to get these toxic chemicals out of your life. The problem is that we're going to be bombarded as long as we're on this planet because there's so much pollution now. So some of the things that we can do is we can wash our food with the Thieves fruit and veggie spray, because that will actually break down waxes and chemicals on our fruits and vegetables. So we want to wash it well to rid it of pesticides. We want to throw away all pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides in our living area, you know, if we have it in the garage or wherever. We want to throw away cosmetics that have toxic ingredients and switch to all estrogen-free cosmetics. The easiest way to do that is swap it out for Savvy Minerals Young Living's makeup line, because we don't have any estrogen or xenoestrogens in our products. We don't have any parabens. We don't have any petrochemicals at all. And petrochemicals are what cause cell lethargy and death, cell death. So we want to get rid of that. We want to not use commercial fabric softeners or perfumed laundry detergents, as they too put petrochemicals right on our skin. Think about it. You wash your sheets in petrochemicals if you're using Tide or whatever, Gain or whatever, and then you roll around. You might sweat in bed a little bit, and your pores are open, and you're absorbing these toxic chemicals, and you're doing that night after night after night. And trust me, it's cumulative. So you do that for 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years, and you're going to have a chemical buildup. And the thing is that we don't always slough off those chemicals right away. They actually, some of those chemicals can build up in the tissue, in breast tissue, in interstitial tissue, you know, so we really don't want to add any other chemicals, you know, in our daily lives. So use only naturally based perfumes. We make our own out of essential oils. Most perfumes are chemically based, petrochemically based. have a really good water filter. And you know, if you've listened to my classes before, I'm always touting the zero water filter that you can get at Target or Walmart or any of the stores that have Brita or the pure zero water filters are the best. Do not use plastic goods, since all plastic leaches estrogens into the environment. So if you can use glass storage containers instead of plastic, that's far better. Plus, they're going to last a lot longer, unless you break them, of course, but glass is just more environmentally safe. Eat only organic-based whole foods and avoid surfactants found in many condoms and in diaphragm gels. Do not microwave food in plastic, and especially avoid the use of plastic wrap to cover food for microwaving. So plastic is made out of petrochemicals. Petrochemicals coat the receptor sites of the cells, causing cell lethargy and death. They don't know the difference between petrochemicals and hormones in the bloodstream, and they grab at them. Those receptors grab at those petrochemicals, and that's what causes toxicity. So endocrine disrupting substances, or EDSs, have a molecular structure that binds with these receptors in the hormone secreting glands, thereby disrupting the normal hormone production process. So some of the common endocrine disruptors studied include DDT, which is a banned pesticide that is still used in some third world countries. So if we're getting foods from third world countries, we still could be getting residual DDT. And the United States knows that. And they're not testing everything that's being imported into the United States. PCBs are other EDSs, and they're present in electrical equipment and manufactured in third world nations. We find our water systems are full of PCBs. Dioxins, this is a byproduct from the production of paper, and it's found in the lining of cans used for preserving food, canned food. So if you can can your own food, that's better. And if you can use frozen vegetables, that's even better, and stay away from these lining of cans. Now, there are some organic companies that are getting away from that particular type of can. So if you read the label and it says that this is dioxin-free can, then you know you're pretty safe. Well, I'm going to sneeze. Vinclozolin is a common fungicide often used on fruits that doesn't wash away easily, and this is why you should be using the Thieves Fruit and Veggie Wash. That has oils in it that actually break down those chemicals so that you can wash them away. And toluene, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly, but it's found in inks and glues and color coatings and paints. These endocrine disruptors can cause reduced sperm count, infertility, testicular cancer, and reduced sexual behavior among middle-aged males. It reduces immunity, may cause breast cancer, and the development of malignant melanomas among women. Beware. So here are some of the endocrine disrupting products. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Wholesale Product Database lists these and more. So you can do a Google on U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Household Product Database, and you can see a listing of endocrine disrupting products. Colgate, Aquafresh, Crest, Gleam, Mentadent, Sensodyne, Ultra Bright, and Viadent. All of these are endocrine disruptors. Mouthwash includes Listerine, Scope, Viadent, and Crest. And you know, they don't tell you any of that stuff in their commercials. All they're trying to do is sell a product, right? But it's harmful to the human body. Other products like antibacterial dish, hand, and body soaps include Dial, Soft Soap, Dawn, Ajax, CVS, Lever 2000, Neutrogena, Clearasil, Clean and Clear, Suave, Olay, and Aveeno. Endocrine disrupting products like air fresheners and sanitizers include Glade 2-in-1, Glade plugins, Oust air sanitizer, Febreze, and any Lysol products. Shampoos and deodorants include Alberto Culver, Aussie Awesome, Dove, Head and Shoulders, Herbal Essence, Pantene Pro V, Pert Plus, Suave, and Vidal Sassoon. Deodorants include Right Guard, Old Spice Red Zone, High Endurance, Secret, Sure, Suave, and Ban. Yes, they should ban all of these, but they don't, because there's a lot of money to be had in these large, Procter & Gamble like companies. So they're not willing to give up the poison. Other products like makeup include CoverGirl and Avon. Body lotions, Vaseline, anything with Vaseline in it is going to be an endocrine disruptor because it's nothing but petrochemicals with a little menthol. So Vaseline, Jergens, Suave, Johnson & Johnson, and Baby Magic. Now, I will mention that there is an app that you can get on your phone, and I've talked about this before. It's called Think Dirty. It's called Think Dirty. Download the app onto your phone, and any product that you're using in your home that you may have a question about, personal care product, all you have to do is hover over the barcode, and it will tell you just how dirty it is as far as cancer causing, being an EDS, and other things. It'll be red or orange or yellow, but if it's green, then you're good to go. You can know that all of Young Living's products are totally green. Fabric softeners and detergents include Arm & Hammer, Bounce, Downy, Ace, Ultra, Ariel, Bold, Cheer, Clorox, and Yes. And Dynamo, Draft, Era, Fab, Gain, Ivory Snow, Purex, Whisk, Woolite, and Tide. So let's talk a little bit about estrogen dominance. You've probably heard this term before. And doctors will say, well, you're estrogen dominant. You need to lower your estrogen. Estrogen levels are normal. And they're not looking at it unless you go to an endocrinologist. And I really wonder how much they understand these petrochemicals are affecting our hormone production. But when you are estrogen dominant, it means that your progesterone levels are way, way too low. If you're estrogen dominant, some of the symptoms are going to be hair loss, breast cancer, sluggish metabolism, decreased sex drive, breast tenderness, foggy thinking, fatigue, irritability, insomnia, memory loss, mood swings, and osteoporosis. Also, water retention and bloating, acceleration of the aging process, cold hands and feet as a symptom of thyroid dysfunction, depression with anxiety or agitation, fat gain, especially around the abdomen, around the hips and the thighs, and increased blood clotting, an increased risk of stroke. From the age of 35 to 50, there is about a 75% reduction in the production of progesterone in the body. Common estrogen dominance conditions, again, are breast cancer, fibroid tumors, endometriosis, polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, fibrocystic breast, premenopausal syndrome, and premenstrual syndrome, PMS. If you have bad periods, if you get a lot of discomfort, then you probably have low progesterone. So what do we recommend for estrogen dominance syndrome? Support the pituitary gland with Progessence Plus. We don't have ultra young spray anymore, so it's Progessence Plus. And feed the pancreas with Ningxia Red and Ocotea essential oil. Clean the liver and the colon. Try to keep it as clean as you possibly can. Living in a dirty world, we have to clean up our house, right? So do the best job you can. Let's talk a little bit about synthetic hormone dangers. There's a lot of women out there that are taking HRT, hormone replacement therapy, and these are patented synthetic hormones that are different biochemically from natural hormones found in plants and in the human body, and their effects can be hazardous to our health. They're linked with higher risks of heart disease. I remember years ago, I was at the gym and I was watching the news while I was on the treadmill, and it was talking about a 33% increase of breast cancer in women who were on Prenolone. Prenolone was a progesterone, or it was a HRT, a hormone replacement treatment or therapy, and it was increasing the chances of breast cancer. Synthetic hormones also increase ovarian cancer and osteoporosis. So why? Why would we take synthetic hormones when we have at our fingertips things that can support normal hormone production? The master gland is the pituitary gland in the middle of the brain, and it's about the size of a pea, and it weighs about 0.02 ounces. It's located on the bottom of the hypothalamus at the base of the brain, and it rests in a small bony cavity. It helps to control blood pressure. It controls growth and development and produces or promotes protein production. It controls reproductive functions, and it controls the secretion and production of hormones in the adrenal and in the thyroid glands. The hypothalamus, on the other hand, regulates key functions of the body. It controls the activity of the heart muscle and smooth muscles of the body. It regulates emotional and behavioral patterns. It controls body temperature and regulates the 24-hour cycle in biochemical, physiological, or behavioral processes. The hypothalamus controls pituitary gland secretions. So see how they work hand in hand? The hypothalamus responds to stimuli such as stress or pain and emotions in our environment and our internal system. The pineal gland secretes the hormone melatonin. So if you're having difficulty sleeping, then you need to support the endocrine system. The pineal gland also causes feelings of sleepiness and regulates endocrine function. So let's talk a little bit about melatonin. This is a hormone that's made by that pineal gland. And I think it was the pineal gland, wasn't it? Yep, secretes the hormone melatonin. And it produces that melatonin when it's dark. Melatonin regulates sleep. It boosts the immune system. It reduces anxiety. It scavenges free radicals, which cause aging. It prevents DNA damage. Free radicals cause DNA damage, and it regulates metabolism. I have a lot of calls from people who say, I'm having trouble sleeping. I took Sleep Essence and it didn't do anything. Well, the thing is that we need to work on the whole system, the whole body. We need to get that liver in better condition. We need to get, we need to support the different parts of the brain that are secreting these hormones and support the thyroid. Don't wait until you have a thyroid condition before you take Thyromin. I've never had a thyroid condition, and I have taken Thyromin for at least 15 years. I take 2 at night, and it's like clockwork. It's part of my food, and I don't think I'll ever have trouble with my thyroid. And it's because I've supported it all these years. So sleep essence can be used to induce sleep. Say you're having a sleepless night. It's not a chronic thing. It contains a little added melatonin to induce that sleep. And then it has lavender, which are calming and relaxing, and vetiver, which eases anxiety and alleviates stress. And this could be part of the reason that people aren't sleeping. Valerian is effective for restlessness from nervous conditions. And tangerine will help to decongest the lymphatic system. Ruta is a sedative with antispasmodic properties and is found in rutavala as well. So it doesn't hurt to take 1 or 2 of these capsules of 30 to 60 minutes before going to bed. But I do recommend that you start at the beginning again, clean that digestive system out, that gut, and then work on that liver and work on the bloodstream and take the products that are going to be, life-giving. ImmuPro is another thing that contains some melatonin, and it boosts and strengthens the immune system. It supports healthy bones, skin, and hair, and it promotes colon health as well. I love ImmuPro. I don't usually take ImmuPro if I take Sleep Essence. I don't take Sleep Essence very often, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. But I do like to have a couple of tablets of ImmuPro, maybe 60 minutes before I go to bed, because I know that it's boosting and strengthening my immune system. And right now, I think all of us could use all the immune strengthening we can get. It's a powerful preventive also for premature aging, and it's because of what is in it. It has reishi mushrooms, it has polysaccharides in it, and it really is the ultimate immune system support supplement. It is powerful preventative for cardiovascular disease, male and female sexual dysfunction, menopausal problems, and skin disorders. I have really had a lot of days, months, and going into years where I've had freedom from skin issues. Whereas when I first came into Young Living, 23 years ago this year, that was one of my biggest struggles, was my skin and the rashes and the itching and the bleeding and the cracking and the oozing. And I get it so rarely now. All I can say is I'm grateful. So I like to chew 1 or 2 of these tablets before going to bed at night. If you're under extreme stress, take 2 to 4 tablets. You need all the help you can get, honestly. A couple of other oils that help to stimulate the production of melatonin in the pineal gland are cedarwood and sacred sandalwood. They both promote relaxation, so you could diffuse these. They oxygenate and stimulate the pineal and pituitary gland in the brain. And all you have to do is either directly inhale it or, like I said, diffuse it at bedtime. DHEA. It stands for vibrant health. It's the most common hormone in the body, and we lose a lot of it as we age. DHEA produces both male and female hormones. It balances cortisol levels, it retards premature aging, It builds lean muscle tissue and blocks fat tissue and cancer cells. That's a pretty aggressive statement. It protects us against degenerative disease, improves our memory, normalizes weight, and improves sex life and boosts energy. Well, where do I get this DHEA? This sounds like the, what do they call it? The magic bullet, right? Well, you get it from Prenolone Plus. Prenolone Plus has added DHEA in it, and this is a body cream, and it's recommended for people with insufficient testosterone levels, insufficient DHEA levels, and we all are insufficient in DHEA. If you're over 10, it boosts levels of estrogen and progesterone in both men and women. And all you do is massage 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon into the soft tissue areas like under your arms, between your thighs, your belly, your neck, on either side of your neck, like on the carotid arteries, and then rotate this application and apply for 3 weeks out of the month. And actually, if you're postmenopausal, you can continue to use it every day. We're just adding DHEA to our bloodstream, and it's really beneficial for us. So please, let this be a reminder. If you have Prenolone Plus in your bathroom, I always have 2 or 3 bottles, 2 on the shelf and 1 on my counter, so that I don't run out. And I use it before I go to bed at night, after a shower. If I have any dry patches, I'll use Prenolone cream, because I know that I'm getting that DHEA and I know that my body needs it. Here's a Prenolone Plus testimonial by Shauna Daystrup out of Utah. She said she suffered with hot flashes and she tried all of Young Living products. And back in the day, we used to have something called estro, but nothing seemed to stop them completely. So she ordered the Prenolone Plus when it came out, and she's been using this product ever since. She never has any hot flashes. She also uses Endoflex on her ankles. And since she's had a hysterectomy, and again, if you're postmenopausal, you do not have to follow a 21 days on and a 7 days off. Just use it every day. Gary has truly come up with a product that she needed. So that was a great testimonial. Another product that also contains DHEA, this magic bullet, if you will, is PD8020. And this is recommended for men and women over 40. It is a prevention of premature aging and maintaining adequate hormone reserves for sustaining health and preventing that premature aging. It's a natural all-over hormone support. Start with 1 capsule a day and then just increase to 2 capsules as needed. Endogize is something I really, really highly recommend. I've got one right here. I'm going to take it because I take 2 out of the bottle in the morning. I put 1 in my mouth when I take them out of the bottle. It's usually when I'm doing my Ningxia and my sulfurzyme and all that. And then I take the other capsule and I put it in here. And then if I turn and see it and I think about it, and I'll take it. It's recommended for both men and women, and it's especially formulated to support and maintain a healthy, balanced endocrine system. It too contains DHEA. Take 1 capsule twice daily. That's why I take 2 out every morning. I do stop taking it every once in a while, and then I get back on it again. So give your body a little break after about 4 weeks, for maybe 2 weeks, and then come back to it. It adds energy. That's one thing I love about it. So what is cortisol? You've probably heard about cortisol. Gary used to call it the death hormone. It's also called the stress hormone. It's important for normal function of the brain immune system and muscle tone and strength and blood circulation and sugar levels. But high cortisol levels can cause obesity, rapid weight gain, blood sugar imbalances, and high blood pressure. Low cortisol is adrenal exhaustion, cardiac arrest, low sex drive, depression, increased blood pressure, decreased thyroid function, muscle wasting, mental fatigue, chronic fatigue, and a lower immune resistance. So CortiStop is recommended for estrogen dominance to counter rising cortisol levels, and you can use it in conjunction with Prenolone Plus cream and or Progessence Plus. Every woman from the age of 12 to 112 should be using Progessence Plus every single night before they go to bed. If you don't have it on your bedside table, I'm going to ask you why. Because you need to use it. If you at one point had issues with it, what Gary used to say and what Dr. Purser used to say is work through it. Keep using it. Your body is adjusting. You need the Progessence Plus. You need the progesterone. So please use that. It supports female glandular system and balances that cortisol production. Take one capsule before breakfast and another before bedtime, and use it daily for 8 weeks, and then discontinue for 2 to 4 weeks before resuming. So let's talk just a little bit about female and male hormones. The female ovaries are what produces egg and the female hormones and regulates the menstrual cycle and pregnancy. And the male testes produce and store sperm, and it's the main source of male hormones like testosterone. Stages of menopause. I started going through perimenopause about the time I found Young Living. It was about the same time. And I don't know if it was because I was sick and it brought it on earlier. I think I was about 46 when I found Young Living. Does that make sense? If I've been in 23 years, yeah, I'll be 69 this year. That's about right. So, you know, perimenopause, first of all, it means around menopause, and it occurs 3 to 5 years before you actually go into menopause. It begins to start. And it lasts, you know, like I said, 3 to 5 years, but it varies. And if you've had a hysterectomy, you will go through that very, very quickly and go directly into menopause, usually. Stages of perimenopause, that's when you start getting those hot flashes, sleep disturbances, and possibly mood swings. But you're still able to conceive a child during this stage. So don't think that you're, you know, protected that way. It ends a year after your final period. So in the years during perimenopause, you may have a period and not have one for 3 months, and then have another one, and then maybe have 2 in the same month. It gets very, very erratic. And women who don't understand this perimenopause, they end up going to the doctor all freaked out because something is wrong. Well, what is wrong is that your brain is getting, it's not creating the estrogen, the progesterone that it had created in your younger years. And so it's getting mixed signals, and it's not got the cycle anymore until it finally just doesn't produce enough for you to produce a cycle, menstrual cycle. So that's perimenopause. And the healthier you keep yourself, the longer, the older you will be before you begin perimenopause. So then what's the difference between perimenopause and menopause? Those irregular menstrual periods start, the hot flashes and night sweats get worse. You will have a low estrogen. You'll have low estrogen, so you'll have vaginal dryness, sleep problems, mood swings, increased fat around the abdomen. Your hair might start to thin because your thyroid is affected as well. You'll have a decrease in breast fullness because you're not getting enough progesterone. And post-menopausal are the years after reaching menopause, when the ovaries no longer release eggs and production of sex hormones sharply declines. So what can we do to keep our estrogen activity up? I use Clary Sage every single night, just like I use Progessence Plus. This effectively combats PMS as well and menopausal symptoms. Apply it on the Vitaflex points, which are inside the ankle bone, the inside ankle bone. So I put a roller ball on my Clary Sage and I roll that ankle bone every night, both of them. You can also take it as a dietary supplement. I do not. I figure if I use this every single night, and I've been doing it for 20 years, you know, I'm getting a little bit of what I need. Use about 6 to 8 drops of Clary Sage on the lower back if you're having PMS. Any lower back cramping, Clary Sage will help with that. Sage works as well, but Clary Sage works better because it has these phytohormones. Very, very effective. Estro is another product that is really, really good for people who are extremely low in estrogen. Well, Dr. Purser states that 98% of the women who have not had problems with Progessence Plus, and 2% that do, need to balance it with either estro or Femogen because their estrogen is so low. So this is good for PMS, for menopause, for menstrual cramping, for balancing emotions, and perimenopause. It's for those women who are really, really deficient in estrogen. Here's a testimonial. Using the essential oils desk reference, I was able to discover that Clary Sage and geranium are 2 oils helpful for hormone regulation. I use a blend of 4 parts of Clary Sage and 2 parts of geranium and 2 parts of a carrier oil for relief of hot flashes. While they are not completely eliminated, I don't suffer from night sweats at all, and the few hot flashes I get are very manageable. I apply the blend to the area inside the ankles, and I've given this blend to several other women who also have had relief. One co-worker who wasn't sleeping because of the night sweats found immediate relief. If she's not getting total relief with this, then this might be a time to use estro or Femogen as a supplement to just give her that little bit of boost so that she doesn't have these symptoms. Clinical studies conducted at PC University in 2002 and the University of Bradford in the United Kingdom have shown that topical hormone creams with essential oils have a greater ability to penetrate through the skin and enter into the blood much more quickly than those that do not have essential oils. So that's why we created Progessence Plus. It is recommended for estrogen dominance, for PMS symptoms, for menopausal symptoms, if you've had a hysterectomy or you've been diagnosed with osteoporosis. Micronized progesterone has been studied for over 12 years, and this is probably 12 years ago at least. So I would say 25 years. It seems to cause cancer cells to pop, and it assists in preventing cancer by not allowing estrogen to be dominant in the body. And it also tends to clean out cancer-causing xenoestrogens. This is written by Dr. Dan Purser. Rub 1 or 2 drops over the carotid artery and or the wrists. Progessence Plus will help with polycystic ovary syndrome. Here's a couple of testimonials. I have been suffering for symptoms of menopause for years. And when I went to the Young Living Convention last year, I purchased the Progessence Plus and began using it. Within 3 weeks, all of the night sweats, hot flashes, mood swings, and low libido that I had been experiencing disappeared. What a new lease on life. Every woman in the world should have a bottle. And in my opinion, the world would be a whole lot happier place. I agree with Myrna. Cindy says, once I turned 50, I began having hot flashes, trouble sleeping, and mood swings. I've now been using Young Living Progessence Plus serum since it was introduced in 2010. I am sleeping better. Mood swings are under control, and my hot flashes are few and far between. It's so easy to use, and just 2 drops daily work for me. I use more than 2 drops. I probably use at least 8. I probably use 8 drops every night. Every night. All right, guys. So that wraps up part 1 of the endocrine system, a healthy endocrine system. And it brings us to just about an hour. So we did good. I'm going to just review what we're going to cover next week real quickly. Next week, we're going to cover which organs. Oh, that was part 1. Why men experience male menopause, how to relieve PMS symptoms, how to support the pancreas, why balancing the thyroid is essential for overall health. We're going to talk more about the thyroid. How the parathyroid affects bone health, why reducing stress is important for the adrenal glands, which steps you can follow to support hormone health, and how you can begin supporting your endocrine system. All right, so we will see you next week for this part. I want you to have a good night. I'm going to stop the recording. Stop the recording.